Hey there, and welcome to episode 11 of the IT Guy Show. I'm your host, Eric the IT Guy Hendricks, and today I'm really excited about the topic because it's one I don't know anything about. A lot of times I've done a bunch of research, or I've worked with the technology before, and I just want to take what I've learned and pair that with someone I'm interviewing. But today is not that kind of a show. In fact, I know next to nothing about NixOS except for the fact that it's been gaining a ton of traction in a lot of the same watering holes that I spend time in, from other podcasters, from a lot of self-hosters. So I know next to nothing about NixOS except what I needed to know to get ready for today. So it's going to be fun because you, the audience, and I will get to learn about NixOS a little bit together. So to do so, uh, joining me from his home lab is Aaron Honeycutt. So let me bring in Aaron, and welcome to the IT Guy Show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, everybody.
So Aaron and I go back at least 15 years. We went to it was a GNOME developers conference in Denver, and he was kind enough to open up his home, and I did some social media for the GNOME Foundation. But my goodness, that's been over 10 years ago.
It's been a while.
But for those that haven't had the pleasure of knowing you all that time, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do, and of course, fan favorite question: what do you do when you're not working? What do you do for fun?
I am Aaron Honeycutt, a flight software engineer or developer at a company, York Space Systems. And then my off time, I either 3D printing stuff or playing games or messing with my home server and adding to it. It's the mess.
So typical self-hosting nerd. Your
Yeah,
downtime is
probably,
spent doing the same kind of stuff you do in the daytime.
yeah.
So you reached out and said that NixOS was something that I should know about. So how did you come across NixOS?
I think it was a coworker at System 76. I think is what kind of started it. I think it all blends together at certain points when
That's fair.
making all the configuration files and everything blends together.
Okay. So given you the couple of minute elevator pitch, how would you describe NixOS to a traditional Linux user?
The traditional, if you're kind of the person who uploads their dot files like GitLab or GitHub or something, like when you want to restore configuration, you just copy and paste them over. The issue, at least when I was trying to do it with Plasma, was like the configuration would be all over the place. One setting for like theme would be in this file, window sizing and stuff would be in this file, just all over the place. Versus you could just define it in one or two files. I do it in three, one the flake and one's the configuration, one's the home, but you could just do any user configuration stuff just in that one file. Any shell changes, aliases, programs you want to start, anything like that, loading your SSH keys like that in one file.
Hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, and I was one of those dot file configuration savers on GitLab for a long time. I moved to Ansible for the most part, but that works great on the server side and for a lot of the back end administration. Um, Customizing GNOME or Plasma settings is something that I've wanted to dive into, but like you were saying, it's kind of all over the place. So it's a bit of a nightmare, and at some points, it's just easier to have a text document with screenshots that say click on this button, unclick this button, and just be done with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Been there.
So how does NixOS differ from traditional distributions in terms of package management?
Generally, you have like static names of things that libraries can overlap each other. It's kind of one of the bigger issues with upgrading is that it'll spec one library and one library is actually not there or it's already there and there's a newer version and this package needs this version, this package needs this version, and there just ends up being this weird dependency tree issues from what I've seen. Nix, everything's just stored in the Nix store. And then the package version, every package's version itself with a unique hash at the end. So in theory, you could have a modified version of Python 1.313 and then a OG original from the source version 13. But they'll be completely fine in the store as is because they have a separate hash at the end. So they'll be unique enough.
Hmm. So it's not using containerization. Is it using some sort of library isolation?
There's a lot of library sharing between them. I don't think it's in that general idea now.
Gotcha. That sounds really cool. And I'm all for anything that makes my builds idempotent. Where would you say NixOS shines the most?
Mm, I've particularly been enjoying it for getting quickly set up on new environments, particularly.
Hmm.
Like I just copy my configuration over, rebuild, and I have everything that I need. Even with WSL in my workplace right now, I'll just copy my home file. I'll have GNU Make, I'll have Auto Tool stuff, I'll have Rust stuff, Cargo, all that stuff already pre-built out of the box once I copy my home file or home Nix file and then rebuild.
It's that's really appealing because someone who ends up rebuilding a system or changes desktop environments or moves from a laptop to a desktop, it'd be nice to be able to port my environment and the tools that I use from one to another. Um, that brings up an important question, though. What is the what is sort of the learning curve? I mean, I'm familiar with Ubuntu. I'm familiar with Fedora. I've run Arch in the past, BTW. um, so what is sort of the onboarding, the new user experience look like?
Originally, when I started, it would be very similar to Arch, where you had to partition everything, do the installer and everything. Since then, it now has its own installer from I think it's like it's a similar the universal installer that a lot of other distributions are using. Calamaris installer, so you could just go roll with their thing. In the general installer, it'll let you choose your desktop that you want. You can always just change it later, drop in the configuration file that you have of your changes, and then rebuild. And then you have your stuff. So it's like similar. Like I had a bash script that would just I run on new installs, install packages, set up aliases and stuff like that. But instead, I just drop one or two files in there, run the rebuild command, and I'm set.
Hmm,
Minus file resyncing for like keys and stuff.
gotcha. Do you have any tips or tricks for people just getting started?
I probably from the get go use the installer and just kind of let it do its thing with its partitioning everything and just till you get your feet wet with it. And then probably move on to like what I'm doing, like using custom partitioning and stuff for the most part.
I imagine that NixOS would lend itself well to a virtual machine. Might be a good place to get started. Uses sort of a NixOS development environment to try out different configurations, run through the installer a few times before you commit it to bare metal.
Oh yeah, yeah. Funny you say virtualization. The NixOS rebuild command actually has a VM option, which takes your configuration that you have and then makes a VM and starts the VM.
Hmm.
So you can actually see if it boots and everything before you reboot your system.
Nice. That's very comforting. There's nothing like spending all this time building a nice automated installer and hitting reboot, and then just nothing. Just that one little underscore in the top left-hand corner of your screen, and it's like, well, there was 17 hours down the drain. That's terrific.
Yeah, when you do the regeneration, when you do the rebuild, it actually makes a new generation. And when you reboot, you'll have that as the first option. And then
Hmm.
you pick that. If that doesn't boot, you just reboot, go down the list until the before you make those changes too.
Gotcha. So it gives you the ability to roll back fairly easily then.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It has
And that is
rollback built
awesome.
into the packaging.
So is that one of the reasons why NixOS has been seeing an increase in popularity? It seems like everyone's moving towards less RPM transactional to more. I mean, we've had it on phones and mobile devices for years, where you download a full new installation and then be able to roll back to the old one if you need to.
Yeah, even CMOS has proven that it's the most popular method of the AB update system. Google's, like you said, has been doing it. Now Steam's doing it with CMOS. You have two copies, so updates one in place, but keeps the other one untouched in case things go wrong.
So you mentioned Git a couple of times. Is that your preferred method for managing complexity within your configuration?
Uh, Personally, yes. A lot of people just use GitHub or GitLab to host their configuration files. I usually use I use GitHub now. I was moved to GitLab. I was using GitHub before, and then keep a copy on my own Git Forjo instance.
Hmm. Makes a lot of sense. Um, how how do you manage the complexity sprawl?
I generally have most installs will just do the configuration file. That's where the entire system is defined. I have most of my stuff in there as well, but I have a home.nix file, which is just for my user itself. And then I've seen other people, and I'm also doing this where I just have a host file, which has configurations per system. So, like for my laptop, I'll need a newer kernel to bring the video support and stuff and hardware acceleration stuff. I'll have that just update to the newest kernel. The keyboard configurator from System 76 because it uses this keyboard. And then on my desktop here, I'll have like Steam and stuff preloaded, development tools and stuff preloaded on that one that's not in the general configuration.
Hmm. So it's a lot like using nested playbooks in Ansible. Like I had one main playbook that I would run against my environment, and within that playbook, there would be a playbook for my user account. There'd be a playbook for installing server-side applications. There would be another playbook for, say, laptop side that would include things like NVIDIA drivers and Steam. Whereas I don't need that kind of stuff on the server side, so I could nest those roles and based on tags and different procedures run specific playbooks against specific targets.
Yeah, you take I just take the general configuration, then have it a little. There's an import at the beginning where it imports the hardware configuration file, which defines like partitioning and everything, drives and stuff. I just import my configuration, like my desktop's called Shepherd, so I'll just import shepherd.nix and it'll import that, and then it'll add Steam and keyboard configurator and anything else that's desktop related to that. And
Mm,
laptop will be the same. It'll import its Garrus configuration and it'll just have the keyboard configurator, but not Steam, and then a couple other mobile things that I need on the go versus things at home.
gotcha. That's really cool. So, if I'm not mistaken, you're one of the contributors to NixOS nowadays. What kind of projects are you working on?
I have been contributing some of the Cosmic desktop packages to
Mm,
Nix and then helping approve those. They added me to the Cosmic DE team on there, and then I'm trying to get one of my personal projects packaged as well.
mm. So, for those that aren't familiar, could you tell us what the Cosmic Desktop is?
Cosmic Desktop is a GNOME. It's a similar like the GNOME or Plasma. It's a desktop that System 76 is making all in Rust to replace GNOME for their operating system. Papos.
Yeah, a lot of Rust changes. Like sudo now has a Rust version in some of the newer operating systems.
Yeah, core utils I think replaced.
Mhm.
There's a Rust-based core utils I think got replaced in development for Ubuntu 25.10. I think.
That sounds right. I think that's where I was hearing that. But yeah, very interesting to see how much Rust is taking over the Linux core. So let's kind of talk. We've kind of done a high level flyover. Let's get a little bit deeper into the weeds now. So there's these concepts of Nix packages, and flakes. So what are these, and how do they interact with each other and with the system?
So generally, Nix is the package manager. There's a lot of confusion there. It's like Nix the package manager, and Nix the programming language as well, which what the Nix packages are written in technically. Um, and then mixed packages, PGX is the actual repository for Nix packages that the OS uses, or if you're just using the package manager like Nix Run, you're pulling it from the Nix packages repo. Like if you want to pull in Python 3, you'll just pull from that repository, or you could pull from locally, but that would be the general gist.
Yes, sir. So, are there any good GUI or beginner friendly tools you might recommend for starting to work with these different packages?
Um, there's I think it's called Nix Software Center. I don't know how much in more development. It's also Rust based, funny enough. Uh, it's part of the Snowflake OS project, which is kind of trying to bring beginning intro to NixOS and have a GUI to like install software and edit your configuration file and show the options stuff that you can use in a GUI format versus just editing a text file and running the rebuild command from there. So I would check
Gotcha.
that out too if you're wanting to see. It's in alpha right now, but That's the goal, is making it more easy to approach the NixOS.
Well, in typical Linux fashion and open source fashion, NixOS is being developed via open source. So what's great is if you try out one of these alpha projects, if you try out the Software Center, you can go and make comments, or if you're handy on the command line or a developer, you can go out and make contributions, um, which really makes it nice to be able to help develop an operating system, especially one that has so much momentum from the community behind it. So maybe I should have led with this, but where does NixOS really excel? I mean, is it something I'd put on my desktop? Is it something that I'd run on a server? Probably wouldn't want to containerize it, but where does it really excel the most?
I've been using it on all of the above personally. There's even a mobile NixOS project
Oh, cool.
for running it on various phones. I think my OnePlus 6 is one of them. I've been really enjoying it as a home server configuration management. So I could just run each Nix file itself as I'm running this service. This is A, service B, service C. And I just turn off this service from here. It has all the options that, hey, my files are here. I need these packages to enable excuse me, video encoding. I need these packages, set up password authentication, like that.
So it really is a kind of a Lego kit for an operating system. You can kind of pick and choose what modules and pick and choose what libraries you want to install. That's really cool. So normally this would be the part of the show where I ask what sort of weird or fun projects you're working on. But as a quick tease to the audience, one of the things I want to do is get more hands on with some of the content that I'm producing. So Aaron has very graciously agreed to record a companion video with me. Where we take kind of a tour of NixOS and Aaron's own home lab. So if you're catching the audio version, make sure to head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I know, shameless self promotion here, but I kind of got a sneak peek during the pre-show of Aaron's home lab and some of the projects that he's working on. So definitely go check out the YouTube channel. There'll be a link in the show notes for that video. If you're watching this on YouTube, it should be attached to this channel as well. So definitely check out that companion video. Aaron, is there anything you want to tease about what we're going to cover in that video?
I have a couple of services running like as general replacement for like Spotify, YouTube Music, replacing like Plex and stuff instead of using Plex. Instead of Google Photos, I have a service running for that. Kind of stuff like that. Like just taking it all back home and I manage the data instead of anyone else and having
Mm.
local copies and everything.
Well, as someone who just resubscribed to a number of different projects or number of different products, subscription services, that's very appealing to me. In fact, in 2026, I'm kind of hoping to launch a uh, de-vendor kind of sort of de-vendorize my home lab again. I got away from that slowly and painfully over the last few years, and the last time I paid one of my big annual subscription fees, I was like, this is ridiculous. You know how nice of a server I could buy with what I'm spending, and how cheap storage is, and what I'm hoping to do is like half of what I'm paying in subscriptions reinvest in my own infrastructure, and the other half do donations for some of the key projects that we're using here in my home. So definitely stay tuned for that. Might have to have Aaron on again to talk about some of these home lab projects. But so definitely check out the companion video for this episode. So in the meantime, where is Nix going? What's some of the current release things we should know about, and what future goals does NixOS have?
Uh, well, Nix packages is getting very close to 1 million commits, which is
Oh wow, that's awesome.
pretty wild. And I think the latest release of 2505, I think they marked as having over 120,000 packages. It's
Oh, wow.
literally it's literally bigger than I think even Arch with the AUR at this point. Uh It's one of the big things, and just having more options for these packages with every single release.
Gotcha. So any resources that you want to point people to? Docs, communities?
Um, I think the NixOS Discord is mix of unofficial, official, but it's pretty active from what I've seen of it.
Hmm.
Nix.dev is, I think, kind of more the official documentation that they're trying to get for like getting started with either Nix Flakes, Nix Shell stuff, generally using it in development environments and stuff like that,
Mm.
or it's good go-tos.
Well, I am sure that a project with that many commits and that many packages can always use more help. So as always, please, if you're in the audience and you're looking for a project, consider NixOS for doing packaging, doing coding, getting involved with the community. There's nothing like the online family that a lot of us build in different communities. All right, so give me your best sales pitch. Give me that couple line reason why I should try NixOS today.
Definitely the configuration management taking out of that equation is very much has been a very appealing thing. I got to the point where I wrote my own installer before they had the official installer
Mm,
to try it out, and I just been really enjoying just writing down, hey, services dot service name dot enable equals true, and get the surface that I need to run some configuration here and there for depending on what you're doing, but that's about it. Just adding, hey, I need this package, add it to the line, update my GitHub or GitLab, and then now next time I need it, it's already there.
mm,
I've been using the crap out of it for personal projects, generally the flakes personally. So I can just go into my repository and like say I just reimage this with Ubuntu. I installed Nix package manager. I clone my repo. I run Nix develop. It downloads everything. I have cargo. I have Rust analyst, all that stuff out from the get go. I exit it. I no longer have it because I don't need it. I'm not developing. Has been kind of a lot really helpful and enables me to. You saw me run this a little bit. I guess more of a sneak peek for the after show or second show. Alternate ending is what we called it.
there you go.
Um, you could just do Nix run GitLab, where you're hosting it, your name and the project name, because it has the flake. I could just run the service from anywhere
Mm.
that has Nix installed. Like I don't even have to install it, or it doesn't have to get packaged or anything. Just the flake provides that.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, is there anywhere you'd like to send folks to follow you and your ongoing adventures?
Probably the Mastodon. I think I linked somewhere, and then my personal site, Aaron.Honeycutt.family. Um, those are the main places I'm at, other than Discord and stuff like that. Typical stuff.
Yeah. Well, we will make sure to put Aaron's contact information in the show notes as well, along with some additional resources. So that's going to conclude our official episode. But definitely appreciate you all tuning in, catching us on audio or on video. Um, this has been a quick look at NixOS, and definitely stay tuned for the follow-up for this episode. I'm really looking forward to Aaron kind of walking me through his home lab, some of the projects, and getting a chance to see how the flakes and the configuration and all this kind of interact. So definitely check out the YouTube channel for that. Um, Coming up in 2 weeks, we'll have our next episode. I'm going to be talking with Joel Kruzwick, who up until recently was the CTO for federal. Uh, Not really sure what his title was. It was long and impressive, but he was basically the CTO for federal customers for GitLab. So he was actually a former manager of mine and a good friend. And so his life is going in an exciting direction. So we're going to catch up with Joel and see what he's up to, but also to kind of talk about the differences between working in the public sector versus working in a government job. So lots of experience, very wise, very big influence on my life. Really excited to be interviewing Joel here in a couple of weeks. So yeah, the former federal CTO for GitLab. So all that said, make sure to like this. It really helps get the word out, and it grabs the attention of people like Aaron, who will then come on and say, "Hey, if you haven't tried this, try it now." So really looking forward to seeing where this goes. Glad to be kind of in a good, solid release cadence. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, because we'll be doing more episodes. I've got episodes planned through the end of the year, and hopefully some additional extras, things like Aaron's home lab. So with all that said, thank you all for joining us. And on behalf of my guest, Aaron Honeycutt, and myself, Eric the IT Guy Hendricks, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.